Landing in Luang Prabang feels like stepping into a temple wrapped in jungle. It's calm, it's serene, and it's deeply spiritual. As soon as I step off the plane, there's a softness in the air. The scent of frangipani, the sound of birds, and the mountains standing like guardians over this ancient city, everything here seems untouched by the chaos of time. Luang Prabang isn't just a place, it's a feeling. This UNESCO World Heritage town blends French colonial charm with centuries of Buddhist tradition. I walk down narrow streets lined with colonial villas, golden stupas, and flowering trees, and I see a world where old and new don't fight, they dance. One of the most moving experiences here is the morning alms ceremony. At dawn, barefoot monks in saffron robes walk silently through the streets as locals kneel to offer sticky rice, fruits, and prayers. It's not a performance, it's a living ritual, a quiet connection between the people and their beliefs. I woke up at 5 a.m. just to witness it, and I felt like I was watching the heartbeat of Laos. Later, I climbed the 355 steps up Mount Fauzi. The sun is setting, and the whole town glows in amber and gold. From the top, the view is surreal, two rivers meeting, mist-covered hills, and temple roofs glittering below. I sit in silence, surrounded by strangers who are just as awestruck. The food here is simple, but soulful. I try lamb, a local stew with buffalo meat, herbs, and wood ear mushrooms. It tastes like a story, slow-cooked, earthy, and full of depth. And the night market? It's a sensory celebration. Handmade textiles, glowing lanterns, and the aroma of grilled meats fill the street. What strikes me most is the pace of life. There's no rush here. People smile often and speak gently. Kids play in temple courtyards, elders sit sipping tea, and monks sweep fallen leaves with meditative grace. Luang Prabang teaches you to slow down, to breathe, to notice. It doesn't try to impress, it invites you to slow boat down the Mekong River, heading into even deeper Laos. But tonight, I sleep with the windows open, listening to the hum of nature and the occasional temple bell. It's just after sunrise, and the Mekong River stretches out like a silk ribbon across the Laotian landscape. This river isn't just water, it's memory, myth, and movement. Today, I'm boarding a slow boat that will take me down this ancient artery, cutting deep into the rural soul of Laos. The wooden boat is long and narrow, with open sides and cushioned benches. Locals and travelers sit side by side, an old woman with baskets of bananas, a family returning from a wedding, a backpacker reading a dog-eared book. Everyone has a story, and the river listens to all of them. As we pull away from Luang Prabang, the world changes pace. We drift past bamboo forests, floating water buffalo, and tiny riverside villages where children wave wildly and run along the banks. There's no Wi-Fi, no traffic, no rush. Just wind in your hair, water under the hull, and time stretching out like the river ahead. I meet a Laotian man named Cam who offers me a piece of sticky rice wrapped in banana leaf. He doesn't speak English, and I don't speak Lao, but we share a smile, and somehow that's enough. He points to the dense jungle and says a few words I don't understand. But when a giant limestone cliff appears around the bend, I know exactly what he meant. The view is breathtaking, hours pass like dreams. I write in my journal, sketch the horizon, sip beer Lao, and just float. There's a rhythm to the river. A wisdom. It's as if the Mekong has been moving like this for 1,000 years, quietly watching kingdoms rise and fall. We stop briefly at Pak O Caves, sacred caverns carved into limestone cliffs where thousands of Buddha statues gather in silence. It's like stepping into a secret shrine. Candles flicker, smoke curls in the dim light, and the statues, some broken, some golden, seem to be whispered. The golden hour begins. The river glows like molten bronze, and the jungle breathes mist. I feel far from everything, and yet closer to something real. Nature here is not background, it's a presence. Alive, watching, eternal. By evening, we dock at a small village called Pakbeng, a sleepy riverside town with stilted wooden houses and warm-hearted smiles. I find a guest house, eat grilled fish caught just hours ago, and fall asleep under a mosquito net to the lullaby of crickets and river frogs. Today, I didn't just travel through Laos, I traveled through stillness. The Mekong teaches patience, presence, and perspective. It shows you that sometimes going slow is the only way to really arrive. When people say authentic Laos, this is what they mean, the quiet heartbeat of village life. I leave the Mekong behind and head inland, traveling by tuk-tuk and dirt road to a small village that isn't marked on most maps. It's not a tourist stop. There's no resort, no signboard, just life as it's been for generations. The sun rises slowly over a patchwork of green. Rice fields stretch out like quilted valleys, their flooded surfaces catching the morning light. Farmers in conical hats work with practiced grace, planting each seedling by hand. It's backbreaking work, but done with rhythm and pride. Every grain of rice here is a story of effort, earth, and endurance. Children laugh as they walk barefoot to school, lunchboxes swinging from their arms. They wave shyly, then break into giggles. A group of older boys plays a game of sepak takraw, like volleyball but played with feet. Their agility and joy light up the dusty courtyard that I'm welcomed into a family home made of woven bamboo with a tin roof. The air smells of lemongrass, wood smoke, and boiled herbs. The grandmother, Baunmi, offers me a cup of herbal tea. She smiles with her eyes more than her mouth, and when she speaks Lao, her voice is soft but steady, like the flow of a gentle stream. Her daughter weaves a silk scarf on a wooden loom. The clack of wood, the rhythm of her hands, and the explosion of color in the threads, it's mesmerizing. This isn't a tourist demo. It's a livelihood, a tradition passed down from mother to daughter. Each scarf takes days, sometimes weeks, to complete. Lunch is served on a low mat, sticky rice, fresh herbs, roasted eggplant dip, and a simple fish soup. We eat with our hands, sharing stories with smiles and gestures. I may not speak their language, but I've never felt more understood. After lunch, I follow a farmer named Fan to the edge of his rice paddy. He shows me how the fields are flooded and drained, how buffaloes still matter more than machines, and how the moon decides when to plant. Nature is the teacher, he says through a translator. And in this village, everyone seems to be her student. As evening falls, the village gathers for a bachi ceremony. It's a spiritual welcome, and they tie white cotton strings around my wrists for protection, health, and good fortune. The elders chant softly, blessing me like family. I feel overwhelmed by their kindness, by the humility of life here, and by a sense of belonging I didn't expect. In a world racing forward, this village shows what it means to stay rooted, in land, in family, in tradition. After the stillness of the village, Vang Vieng feels like waking up inside a postcard, but one that can suddenly come alive and whisk you into adventure. Nestled between surreal karst mountains and the Nam Song River, this once sleepy town has become a haven for travelers looking for both adrenaline and awe. I arrive in the early morning, and the view is almost unreal. Giant cliffs rise from emerald rice fields, their jagged silhouettes slicing through the sky like ancient teeth. Mist lingers at the peaks, while the river below reflects the dawn like liquid silver. My first adventure? Kayaking down the Nam Song. The water is calm but playful, and as I feel like I'm gliding through another world. Birds call from the treetops, butterflies hover over the surface, and small wooden houses peek out from behind banana groves. Midway, we stop at a riverside bar where locals serve up grilled meat skewers and fresh fruit shakes. There's laughter, music, and the warmth of people from all over the world, Germany, Korea, Argentina, India, sharing one beautiful moment in Laos. In the afternoon, I trade my kayak for a motorbike and head toward the famous Blue Lagoon. The ride takes me over bumpy dirt paths, across wooden bridges, and through rice paddies glowing in the sun. Kids wave as I pass, cows wander lazily across the road. And every turn reveals another breathtaking view. At the Blue Lagoon, the water is so clear it looks fake. I dive in, and the coolness jolts every cell in my body awake. There's a rope swing, a giant tree to jump from, and the echo of laughter bouncing off limestone walls. Nearby, the Tam Phu Kam cave waits, a sacred space hiding a golden reclining Buddha in its deepest chamber. Inside, it's silent and powerful. You feel like you're in the lungs of the earth, but nothing compares to the magic of sunset in Vang Vieng. I take a short hike up to the Nam Zay viewpoint. The climb is steep, with rough wooden ladders and sharp rocks. But when I reach the top, I understand why people risk the sweat and scrapes. From here, the entire valley opens up, rivers curling like silver snakes, fields glowing like gold, mountains stacked like dreams, and then, the hot air balloons rise. They drift slowly across the sunset sky, their colors vivid against the orange-pink clouds. It's quiet up here, except for the distant hiss of fire inflating the balloons and the gasp of someone next to me who can't believe what they're seeing. Neither can I. Vang Vieng shows that nature isn't just for looking at, it's for feeling, for moving through, for living inside of. It's wild, it's playful, and it never lets you forget. It hums. Quietly. Softly. Like a city that knows its worth but has nothing to prove. After the wild cliffs of Vang Vieng, arriving in the capital of Laos is like slipping into a slow, jazz-like rhythm. It's not a chaotic capital. No towering skyscrapers, no honking madness, just wide boulevards, palm trees swaying in the breeze, and a calm pulse that flows beneath it all. I begin my morning with a walk to a small French bakery near the Mekong. Yes, a bakery. Because here in Vientiane, croissants and café au lait are as common as noodle soup. The French colonial past lingers gently, like the scent of fresh bread in the air. I sip my coffee at a sidewalk cafe and watch the city wake up. Monks walk by silently. A young couple eats papaya salad for breakfast. A man in flip-flops rides past on a scooter, balancing a bag of baguettes. This city is a blend of East and West, old and new, spiritual and secular. I wander to the Patuxai, Laos' answer to the Arc de Triomphe. But unlike the one in Paris, this one is decorated with Lao motifs, Naga serpents, and golden details. I climb to the top and get a panoramic view of the city, the red roofs, the golden stupas, the winding Mekong. From up here, I can see that Vientiane isn't small. It's just subtle. Then it's time for a visit to that Luang, the great golden stupa and national symbol of Laos. As I approach, the sunlight hits the gold leaf. And the whole structure glows like it's made of fire. Pilgrims kneel in prayer. Tourists take photos. I sit quietly in the shade and feel the weight of history. This stupa is said to house a relic of the Buddha himself. Whether you believe that or not, you can't deny the spiritual energy here, thick in the air, steady in the earth. For lunch, I head to a local eatery for khao piak sen, a comforting noodle soup with chewy rice noodles, herbs, and slow-cooked chicken. It's the kind of meal that warms you from the inside out, like a mother's hug at the edge of the city. In the evening, the whole city seems to gather there. Families, couples, joggers, street performers, everyone comes to watch the sun set over the river. Thailand glows on the other side. Kids fly kites. Vendors sell grilled meats and sticky rice. And as the sky turns lavender, I realize this may be one of the most peaceful capital cities I've ever visited. Vientiane doesn't dazzle you with speed. It teaches you to walk slower, breathe deeper, and listen more carefully. If Laos is a poem, the south is where it breathes in long, slow verses, soft, warm, and full of secrets. Down here, the Mekong River doesn't just flow, it explodes into a labyrinth of islets, sandbanks, and palm-lined shorelines. They call this place Si Phan Don, the 4,000 Islands. And whether it's really 4,000 or just a poetic exaggeration, the magic feels infinite. I arrive at Don Det, one of the most popular islands. There are no cars here, just bicycles, barefoot kids, hammocks, and time that seems to run in reverse. My bungalow is perched over the river, its wooden deck swaying slightly with every breeze. I lie back in a hammock, watch the water pass below me, and suddenly, everything, deadlines, schedules, noise, melts away. Life here is slow and delicious. Breakfast is fresh fruit and coconut pancakes. Afternoons are for tubing down the river or exploring by bike. The roads are just dirt tracks, lined with rice paddies, grazing buffalo, and old temples with faded murals. Every corner feels like a story waiting to be told. One of the most surprising discoveries here is Kon Phaphang Falls, the largest waterfall in Southeast Asia by volume. Not height, but sheer power. The Mekong thunders over jagged rocks in a roaring rush, carving its way south to Cambodia. The energy is primal. You stand there, soaked by mist, your voice drowned by the roar, and you understand why locals once believed spirits lived in these small wooden boat in search of a rare miracle, Irrawaddy dolphins. These shy, freshwater creatures are endangered and elusive. But today, I'm lucky. As the boat glides into the calm, deep pool near the Cambodian border, 2 dolphins break the surface with a soft splash. It's brief, just a glimpse, but it stays with you. That tiny arc of gray against the shimmering blue feels like a blessing. In Champasak, I visit Wat Phao, an ancient Khmer temple older than Angkor Wat. Set at the base of a sacred mountain, it's weathered and broken, but powerful. I climb the steep stairs, walk through frangipani trees, and watch as the ruins glow in the afternoon sun. There's hardly anyone here, no crowds. No queues, just me, the stones, and the silence. Evenings in the south are something special. I return to Don Det just in time for the sunset. The river turns gold, then crimson, then dark. Locals light fires. A reggae track floats from a nearby cafe. Travelers trade stories. And above us, the stars begin to appear, clear, bright, and countless, like the islands below. The southern loop isn't about sights alone, it's about space. Space to slow down, to breathe, to feel the world gently instead of rushing through it. Tucked away in the remote northeast of Laos, surrounded by green hills and jagged limestone cliffs, lies a place most travelers miss, and maybe that's why it still feels haunted by history. Vang She, the hidden city, is not just a cave system. It's a witness to one of the most secretive chapters of the 20th century. I arrive early, the air heavy with fog and silence. Even the birds seem quieter here. The landscape is beautiful, lush and serene, but beneath it lies a world carved into stone by necessity, resilience, and revolution. During the 1960s and 70s, Laos was caught in the middle of the Vietnam War, though much of the world didn't even know it. Over 2 million tons of bombs were dropped on this neutral country, making it one of the history. And when the sky rained fire, the path at Lao, the communist resistance movement, went underground. Literally, I follow a local guide into the caves. He speaks softly, as if the walls themselves are listening. He was born in these caves. Grew up here. Laughed, cried, hid, survived, all beneath the surface of the earth. Inside, the darkness is total until we switch on a torch. The cave opens into rooms, not just natural hollows, but hand-chiseled bunkers. There's a schoolroom with stone benches, a medical clinic, a bakery, even a theater. I can't believe it, people lived here for years, hundreds of them, breathing cave air, living by candlelight. In one chamber, we find the old office of Prince Suphanuvong, one of the revolutionary leaders. A wooden desk remains, a rusted fan, old radios, and faded maps. It feels like someone just stepped out and might return any moment. In another room, communist slogans are still etched into the walls. There's a stillness that wraps around your skin. It's not fear, it's reverence. This place isn't just historic, it's sacred. Every crack in the rock, every drop of moisture, carries memory. Outside, the sun finally breaks through the mist. The green hills look peaceful again. Kids ride bicycles past bomb craters now softened by grass. But my mind stays inside the caves. Vang She doesn't offer tourist thrills. It offers perspective. It shows the price of peace, the strength of survival, and the silence of forgotten wars. It reminds us that beauty and brutality often coexist, and that some of the strongest human stories are written not in books, but in stone. As I leave, I take a final look at the cave mouth. It's quiet now. But not empty that there's something in the air here, not just the scent of lemongrass and wood smoke, but something invisible. Laos breathes with a quiet spirituality. It's not loud or theatrical. It's lived, in rituals, in herbs, in the rhythm of prayers that echo across. I travel to a small village outside Luang Prabang to meet a Morphai, a traditional Lao healer. His home is humble, surrounded by plants I can't name but he can, each one used to soothe, strengthen, or cleanse. He smiles as he grinds roots and leaves into a paste, explaining through a translator how sickness is not just physical. The spirit must be in balance, he says, tapping his heart. He lights a bundle of dried herbs, and the smoke curls around us. He chants softly, tying cotton threads around my wrist. These are bachi strings, symbols of protection and harmony. He tells me they are to call back my 32 spirits, believed in Lao tradition to wander when a person is emotionally or physically disturbed. In Laos, spirituality isn't limited to temples. It lives in the everyday, in the small spirit houses outside homes, where people leave offerings of rice, flowers, and incense to appease the land spirits. It lives in the forest temples, where saffron-robed monks wake with the sun, meditate under ancient trees, and live with only what they need. At one such forest temple near Vang Vieng, I spend a morning in silence. The chanting of the monks is low and melodic, almost like a lullaby for the soul. I sit on the cool tiles and listen, eyes closed. The world narrows into stillness. For the first time in a long time, my mind stops chasing itself. Later, I visit a Sakyant master, a sacred tattoo artist. He uses a bamboo stick to slowly press ink into skin, creating intricate symbols that are believed to offer protection, courage, and clarity. I don't get inked, but I watch as a young man receives his first tattoo. With every stroke, he's not just getting marked, he's being transformed. And then there's Lao massage, deep, pressure point focused, and rooted in ancient energy line theories. I lie on a mat in a quiet open-air hut, the mountains in the distance. For an hour, hands press, pull, and stretch muscles I didn't know I had. It's relief. It's not. Even in the markets, you'll see this connection between the physical and the spiritual. Herbs, amulets, dried roots, prayer beads. Elders who can read your energy by watching how you walk or speak. In a world obsessed with speed and technology, Laos is still listening to the body, the breath, and the soul. Here, healing is not a service. It's a ceremony. It's not just about feeling better, it's about becoming whole again. In Laos, food is more than sustenance, it's ceremony, community, and a mirror of the land itself. Every dish tells a story of patience, simplicity, and a closeness to the earth that's both rare and beautiful. I begin in Luang Prabang's night market, where the air is thick with aromas, smoke from grilled meats, sweet coconut, herbs I can't yet name. Vendors line the narrow paths, offering everything from banana pancakes to riverweed crisps. Yes, riverweed. Dried, toasted with sesame, it's a crunchy, umami-packed surprise that I can't stop munching on, but nothing speaks Laos more than khao niao, sticky rice. Steamed in tall bamboo baskets, it's not just the staple, it's the heart of the Lao table. You don't use chopsticks or spoons. You eat with your hands, rolling the rice into small balls, dipping it into sauces and scooping it with grilled fish or spicy salads. Speaking of spice, Lao people love heat. And nothing proves that more than tam mak hong, the infamous Lao green papaya salad. I visit a local home where a woman named Noi shows me how it's made. She slices unripe papaya into thin strips, tosses it into a large mortar, and begins pounding it with chili, garlic, fish sauce, lime, and fermented fish paste. She grins, warning me, "Lao spicy, okay?" I nod bravely. One bite later, my eyes water, but I keep going. It's addictive, fiery, sour, salty, and sweet all at once. I wash it down with a cold beer Lao, and everything just. Lao cuisine is rustic but elegant. There's lap, a minced meat salad mixed with mint, toasted rice powder, lime, and fish sauce. You can get it with pork, chicken, or even mushrooms. It's a national dish, but also something deeply personal. Every family has their own twist. In a riverside village, I'm invited to a traditional meal. There's grilled tilapia caught just hours ago, spicy eggplant dip, bamboo soup, and of course, endless sticky rice. We sit on the floor, plates shared, conversations flowing even with few words. The grandmother serves everyone before she eats. The children help clear plates. Eating here is not rushed, it's an act of togetherness, and then there's the sweets, small, gentle endings to bold meals. Like khao nam coke, coconut rice cakes crisped outside, creamy inside. Or fresh mango with sticky rice drizzled in coconut milk. Simple. Joyful. Honest, food in Laos is always fresh, always seasonal. Markets burst with color, dragon fruit, morning glory, banana blossoms, wild mushrooms. The connection to land and season is unbroken, but more than anything, Lao cuisine feeds the soul. It slows you down, opens you up, and pulls you gently into the rhythm of this country. You don't just eat in Laos, you connect, you listen, you give thanks. As I pack my bag for the final time in Laos, I realize I'm leaving with far more than I arrived with. Not souvenirs, though I've picked up a few, but something quieter. Deeper, something I can't quite name. Laos doesn't dazzle like its neighbors. It doesn't beg for attention. But it seeps into you slowly, like river water into soil. It asks nothing from you, only that you slow down, listen, and truly look. I think of the monks in Luang Prabang, their silent procession at dawn. The way they moved, steady, barefoot, weightless. That ceremony was never meant for tourists, and yet witnessing it felt like being invited into the soul of a people. I remember the hours on the Mekong, drifting, unfold not like rushing. A dream. That river taught me that not all movement needs speed. Sometimes, the deepest journeys happen when you let go of control. The villages showed me humility and strength. People with so little, giving so much, a place at their table, a smile, a story, a blessing wrapped in cotton thread. In cities where we measure success by what we earn, Laos reminds us to value what we give. Vang Vieng's wild beauty still echoes in my bones. The weight of the mountains. The clarity of the river. The way adrenaline and peace danced side by side in that place. Nature there wasn't just a backdrop, it was a teacher. In the south, I watched dolphins surface where bombs once fell. I stood before waterfalls that roared louder than war. I saw people who survived the unimaginable and built lives full of laughter and generosity. And in Vientiane, I walked through the shadows of history and felt the weight of what was endured and forgiven. The spiritual life of Laos, from sacred tattoos to silent meditation, from forest monks to herbal healers, reminded me that not everything worth knowing is written in books. Wisdom is sometimes spoken in chants, cooked into meals, or held in a quiet glance. And the food, oh, the food. Each bite was an invitation to understand the land, the seasons, and the people who coax life from river and field. Sticky rice in hand. Chili still burning my tongue, I laughed more than I had in months. Laos gave me silence when I needed space. Gave me flavor when I was hungry for color. Gave me community when I felt alone, and now, as my flight lifts off, I look down one last time. The Mekong glitters in the morning light. The mountains fade into clouds. And I whisper something I hadn't planned: thank you. Not every country becomes part of your story, but Laos. Laos becomes part of your soul.